Oh! Damn, man, look at that, look! What's the matter with you? You can't take an ass beating, bitch! Shut up! Do something! You're smart, right? Do that thing! You! Come here! Breathe into his mouth! Cuss!
Calling the audible.
Booyah! Wow! this kicks like a mule with his balls wrapped in duct tape.
With Pease Del Reese
Tight, yeah!
and George Michael Collectoass. Starts now.
Clean the manure out from between your ears. What'd you do that for? Shut up!
Hi everyone, you're listening to Not Calling the Audible.
Nope.
But you were listening to Super Flag Bros. Sorry we had a little mix-up and a firing of a producer.
My bad.
Still in the studio until we can officially fire him is Eagle at Master Control. If you want to tweet the show while he's still employed, tweet him at EagleFPF. You can of course tweet me, the host, Pease Del Reese, at PeaseFPF. And I'm joined by my co-host, Deez. Or Duke? What are we calling you anyway?
No, whatever you want. You can literally call me anything you want.
Deez Del Reese. Where can people find you on Twitter?
At the Montreal Expos.
Awesome. You can tweet him at Davis Republic and at the Montreal Expos. You can also find him naked on the floor of his apartment.
Sometimes.
On most days. Days.
Whiskey Wednesdays.
Whiskey Wednesdays. That's a mark of the underemployed.
It really
not
is.
Unemployed, but just
No, but
not
under,
employed
just
enough.
enough.
Like
Just
you,
enough.
you can afford the whiskey, but you don't like your life enough to not drink it all in one sitting.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah,
Really good
absolutely,
idea.
Absolutely. So Whiskey Wednesdays, everyone. Hashtag Whiskey Wednesdays.
Definitely.
So if you want to tweet the show, remember that hashtag because we will not read it out loud unless you hashtag Whiskey Wednesdays. So how was your week?
Pretty good. Won a game, lost a game.
Yeah.
Kind of the story of my life.
Yeah, kind of because we play on both the same teams and I'm
Yep.
quarterback of one of them, so that's what happens.
Hey, you didn't have that bad a week though.
That's
and
true,
and
that's
I think you did pretty good in D6 as well.
It was okay. It started okay and then it kind of fell apart.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
No, it started okay and then just became a crack addict
Okay,
and so
yeah.
on.
Terrible.
That's the definition of how I played into D6.
Are you enjoying D6?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Tell me more.
We will, because I got to talk about some games, and one of which is Sun Boys beating the Tigers 26-18. I see how proud you
What
are
about
about my
Sun Brothers?
transitions. What?
What about Sun Bros?
I refuse. I call them Sun Boys from now on. Boys, change your name. You're not the only two bros in this show right here. Super Flag Bros. Sun Boys.
Sun Boys.
26-18. How would you talk about that?
So now you want me to talk.
Well, you
Okay.
have interrupted me. It's kind
I
of
know,
ruined
kind
the
of missed the
momentum.
transition. Well, I think that in general, I think it was a very interesting game because these are two teams that are flying right under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this is a great game for Lerner. I think that it's definitely like we were talking recently about how he's a lot better than what the record states. That he's
Well, no,
he's
that I
definitely
said
a-
last week. I said
Yeah.
I felt that he was the best quarterback we're not talking about.
Absolutely, and this is probably a game that really kind of showcased that. I mean, they're pretty good. I think it was 4 touchdowns. And I think that's kind of the number you want to aim for as a quarterback in FBF. If you can nail
and,
4.
and Div 6 is
Yeah.
a bare minimum.
Bare
I
minimum.
always say if you want to advance in the playoffs in any division, you need a minimum of 5 touchdowns a game. And as you move up, you'll see that's not even enough in a lot of games. We had Darren McDezian. He had a huge game, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Would you say this
for
is
the-
his breakout game? It's
Yeah,
probably his breakout game.
he's the Sun Bro. I've lowered the band on the Bros. Sun Bros receiver putting up 87 yards, 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. What have you seen at him? What do you like about him?
Well, I like how he spreads the field. I find out when he catches the ball.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
No, but I think generally, I think that he has a lot of talent that can definitely expose a lot of defenses in this league. If used properly, can be very deadly. What have you seen from him?
Again, just the ability to get up and down the field.
I mean, he's no Odell Beckham Jr., but one day.
Maybe senior. Maybe. I don't know how old he is. I also want to look at the Tigers real quick. They've only scored more than 2 touchdowns once this season was in their only win.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to them other than score more points?
That's the only thing. No, but seriously,
How do they get their offense rolling?
It's tough to say, but I really like it, and I know you told me not to say it, but really, Like it really, really, really comes down to that. Like you have to find ways to score more points. Either finding a new way to attack different defenses, maybe try different receivers or something. But it's just you really can't survive in this league off of 2 touchdowns a game. You can't.
I had a couple ideas. One is simplify the playbook, and I always say it. I've played as high as Division 3. You don't need more than 4 or 5 plays.
Oh, absolutely. I think in Division 1 you only use like 5. There's like teams only use
Montreal's
like 5.
finest who's
Yeah,
famous
triple
for
slant.
using one play over and over.
No,
and over
we
and
should
over.
actually tell teams to just do triple slants.
Yeah, unless you're like me who just doesn't understand it for some reason and can't throw it, but absolutely.
Can't execute it.
The other thing is, I would say simplify it.
Triple slants.
Run plays you're comfortable with, whether it's triple slants or whatever it is. Find the 4 or 5 plays that you're comfortable with, then draw them against the different defenses, against cover 2, against cover 3, against the 4-1, and see where you expect the openings to be, because the first, it's kind of like it works in 3 levels. So the first level of play is, what am I going to do? The second level of play should be, what is the defense going to do and how can I exploit that?
But
and
a
the
lot of
third level,
times-
of course, is then, what can I do to trick the defense because they know what I'm trying to do? But you're not there yet.
No, of
what
course
you are,
not.
What you want to get to is the second level of drawing out the play so you know where your receiver is going to be against the given coverage.
Definitely don't overthink it. Don't start thinking like what's the defense going to do because it's Division 6. A lot of
I'm
these
not
teams
talking
haven't
what the
played
defense is going
before.
to do, but if you see a defense, most defenses run 2 defenses in a game. Man and whatever zone.
Man, cover 2.
Exactly. In 90% of the time, that's what it is. So just understand what happens in man on a given play, what happens in cover 2 on a given play.
But I
Where's
think,
the
it's also,
opening?
I think it's also about, it's not specifically that, but also reading specific coverages on your main receiver. If you have a guy that you like, that you feel comfortable throwing the ball to, like just understand what kind of coverages are on him. If you feel like a defender's playing really, really tight on him, there's definitely ways that you can exploit that. If he's playing really loose on him, there's different ways of exploiting it as well. So
Yeah.
it's really about understanding the coverages as well.
On a game that could have been tight but ended a little loose, Wolfpack beat NWO 28-18. We saw here Yakub, Mr. Versatility, Telemac, getting 2 touchdown catches. He threw a touchdown and had an interception. Is he the best player in Division 6?
Well, he's certainly in a discussion. I mean, there's very few players in this specific division that have the same kind of athletic ability that he has. And but furthermore, looking at this game itself, I think this was an interesting game because it really it was a must-win for both teams in terms of standing, in terms of a team building experience as well. But I think that it's weird because I didn't choose the NW to win this game, but it's just weird how they lose these games so close.
So closely. Absolutely.
So closely.
Perhaps grammar is not your forte. But NWO, and I'm touch on that, like they didn't play particularly poorly. They just weren't able to keep Wolfpack from scoring.
It's strange. It's strange because they don't do anything particularly bad, right? They just can't find it, and that's really the tough thing in this league where you only have 60 minutes to get something together.
44 and 5 plays.
44.
plays,
Yeah, and honestly, my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with me. I find that halftime is such a waste. I find it's a waste because there's nothing you can really do in that halftime, and it really cuts into your energy.
Disagree. Halftime adjustments are crucial.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Plus,
Isn't he fired? Why isn't he fired yet?
As Eagle at Master Control, in case you didn't hear it, he was saying halftime adjustments are critical. I find as you move up in divisions, it becomes especially relevant. Division 6, basically a lot of times you're just getting some water.
Yeah,
because
that's
you don't
what
know
it
how to
is.
adjust. But that being said, it's a learning experience. So
But-
if you can start to make the adjustments, if you understand the game well enough at this point, yeah,
But
absolutely,
it's
absolutely
worrisome. It's worrisome because I feel like NWO can do a lot better, and I kind of expect them to have a better record. And I feel like close games like this, I thought it would be their forte. Because I think Sanchez is having a very good season.
the Sanch.
But then again, going to what we were saying, it's really a 4 touchdown kind of league. If you can't get 4 touchdowns,
At bare minimum Div 6.
At bare
And that's
minimum.
only because the scoring is so low this season in Division
do
6.
you think it's because he's not using his players, he's not using the team to the right advantage? Do you think it's that?
I think what happens with Sanchez is he's a very streaky quarterback. And when he has a couple plays that get him rolling, and he kind of uses that read option to do that, to give him a couple of plays and get some momentum. Once he gets the momentum, he looks sharp. But then as things don't really go his way, he just starts to implode. And it's not a lot. It's a missed throw on 3rd down. It's a throw into coverage that gets intercepted. It's not converting in the red zone.
And it's weird because playing in a higher division, and I haven't played in Division 3 until this season. There's one thing I'm realizing with a lot of teams is, like, when you go into a Division 3 game, things roll fast.
Yeah.
In a 60-minute, a 44-minute game,
Plus 10 plays.
plus 10 plays, like, I feel like it's just team offenses get on the field and they roll. There's nothing to stop them, and that's essentially what I feel that's missing out in Division 6. Teams start off slow. They start really, really slow, and in other divisions
They
as well.
take a lot of time with the huddle. They don't think with the next play calls.
It's almost like you have to know what you got to do before the game starts.
Absolutely. Obamacare knew how to get it done. They win it 34. I didn't write the score in my prep for some reason, so they win it 34 to less.
6, I think. It was
it's
the 6.
34 to 8.
8? Okay.
With a safety, I believe, coming in the first half. Absolutely. We saw Jordan McInnes. Now, he has 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Yeah.
We don't have a rookie of the year,
Oh, definitely. He's up
but
there.
he's up there.
Oh, absolutely.
He
Absolutely.
played last spring.
Did he play last spring? With who?
He filled in for the Pack.
Yeah, but at a
He
full-
filled in. It's
Come
not
on,
a
it's like a
full-time
minor
role.
league baseball player coming in and playing 3 games. FP Santana was a rookie at like 31 years old. No, I still consider him as a rookie. I think you got to be playoff eligible to be considered for the mythical rookie of the year.
No, I don't.
trophy
I
that
don't
doesn't
think so at
actually
all. I
exist.
disagree with you completely on that. I don't think you need to be eligible for the playoffs to be Rookie of the Year.
I'm not saying the team makes the playoffs. I'm saying
I just
you
want to
need
disagree
play
with you.
enough games.
disagree with
No, you need to understand what I'm saying. For a guy who works here, maybe you should be better in English.
Not happening ever.
So do you think he would have earned it? You know what I mean? Despite GM says, he played 3 games, so obviously he's a veteran now.
He's still considered a rookie.
Yes, I'm
absolutely.
agreeing with you. We're saying the same
Freshman.
thing.
Freshman.
A freshman, yeah. He kind of redshirted, but snuck onto the field a couple times.
No, I don't
It
know. I
happens
think,
to too. Come on.
and look, I definitely think he deserves all of the credit. But at the same time, he has excellent receivers. It's a very, 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 very tough team. I still think, to me, that's still my pick they're still my championship pick for Division 6. I don't think there's very few teams that can actually beat them. I know they lost a few weeks ago, maybe even last week.
Nope, they won last week.
They won last
The
week.
game we're
so it
talking
was
about
2 weeks
currently
ago,
right
2
now.
weeks, yeah. You know what I mean. I think it was 2 weeks ago they lost. But my thing is, with this specific matchup itself against Mountain Goats, it was interesting to see how they would match up against a team that was shorter and faster. Not to say they're slow by any measure, but it's just Mountain Goats have a different kind of dynamic in Division 6. They're a team that rolls pretty fast. They're very quick receivers. So it's interesting to see them dominate a team like that. And I think going forward, it's definitely a very interesting team to look forward. And I think that, yes, Jordan McInnes, for sure. I know he played three games last season, but he's definitely.
I didn't say 3.
I just made it up.
We're gonna go with 3 because we heard you say 3.
One thing I've learned about working in the media and FPF is facts don't actually matter.
No, never.
Um,
It's how
It's just
convincing
name
you are,
dropping.
Yeah, absolutely.
and how
absolutely.
convincing you are.
Mountain Goats go with Anthony Zbega. Anthony Zbega. And the worst part is I practiced it before I came. Anthony Zbega at quarterback, he struggled. He learned a tough lesson. You can't just step onto an FPF field, never having thrown a pass and have success at quarterback.
No.
Obviously for Mountain Goats, they only have 6 players on the roster.
Yeah.
It's tough to then, when you're missing a guy, basically look around the room and say who can fill in a spot, whether it's
I've been there.
safety,
I think we've all been there,
Yeah.
where we've been in a spot where you're missing a guy. And credit to them, they managed to find a guy to fill in. Not that he had a good game.
Well,
by
he's
any
on the
measure.
roster. You just
No, but I'm saying it's tough to just get a guy, throw him in. But I feel like that I still give them credit for that. It's always a tough spot for a guy to be in and play. To be that green because they're also very young as well. So imagine being young, never throwing a pass in FPF as well.
I can no longer imagine being young because it happened so long ago. We're gonna take a quick break because this old man needs some time off. When we come back, we'll read out some tweets. We'll read out some tweets and go through some topics.
Hashtag Tequila Tuesdays.
Calling the Audible has been brought to you by the English Montreal School Board's DEAL program. Distance education for all learners will allow you to obtain your high school diploma or prerequisites for CEGEP or vocational studies from the comfort of your own home. It's never too late to go back to school. Learn anywhere at your own pace and get your diploma. Call 514-788-5937 for information or visit www.distanted.ca for more details.
we are back. I am Peas Del Ruiz. I've just learned that we are all terrible people. If you want to follow us, you can follow us at PeasFPF. You are D's Del Ruiz. You can follow D's at
the Atlanta Braves.
the Atlanta Braves. Don't follow them because I hated them for a long time when the Eagles were in town. My compatriot GM Calethris disagrees entirely, but
Big Braves fan.
he's a worse person. Eagle at Master Control still miraculously employed. Rob Cantana
single.
hasn't kicked the door down. That's not miraculous. But you can tweet him at Eagle FPF, and we do have a tweet in from GM Colectio. He says he's in the room, but he tweets anyway. He says, "Why are the new D6 teams doing better than returning ones?" Or then, groups of returning players, experienced players. It seems like the youth is really excelling this season.
Well, I think it's also that the returning teams, I feel like they're not really bringing anything new to the table. And I feel like a lot of the new teams in the league, now they're also coming in with guys that are uncapped. They come in with a low rating.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easier to get away with a guy that's exceptionally athletic. Like there's a couple of guys on definitely Obamacare that are kind of rated pretty low, but we know next season they'll be rated pretty high as well.
Absolutely, I agree.
But
Anthony
definitely,
Hopkins
I think it's a combination of not bringing anything new to the table, but it could also be that it's not knowing what to expect when a new team is coming in playing against a much more veteran team. The expectations aren't there. You don't know what to expect.
I think one thing that happens too is teams sort of fit into a specific level, and either they make the changes necessary to move to a higher division, or they realize that's just the division that they belong in. And new teams come in not knowing the league, not knowing where they fit in. We saw in Division 5 2 seasons ago a team called Game Changers coming in, running the table, going undefeated, winning a championship because they didn't know how good they were.
But it's like being in a relationship, right? It's like if you're not bringing anything new to the table, you get bored. You kind of lose a lot more arguments. But when you're new in a relationship, you have a lot more. She doesn't know what to expect.
I'm hoping neither of our girlfriends are watching the show tonight.
They're not at all.
I know that at all.
D6
I can
podcast,
guarantee
yeah.
it. I can guarantee that.
Pretty sure.
So that being said, you talked about how to deal with bad relationships. Let's talk about how to deal with bad seasons.
Bad seasons.
So some teams, including some gentlemen in the room, were struggling this season.
Absolutely.
How do you deal with it?
How do I deal with it? Okay, well,
what's your advice?
What's my advice?
You've heard of Dr. Phil. You're even less qualified.
I'm so not qualified, but I would say, draw a hot bath, take a hot towel, put it on your face, and cry profusely. But I would say that before you do that
nightly.
Before you do that, put on some soothing music, perhaps something that is peaceful, but a little bit aggressive at the same. Maybe like some jazz music, so that it can really foster the emotions that are going through your body. But I would say, going beyond the whole crying part, don't take it on any of your teammates, because it's not only their fault. It's also your fault, because if you're having a terrible season, it's not just on your quarterback, your receiver. It's on you as well, because if you haven't won a game yet, you probably suck as well.
Yeah, everyone on the team has a role to contribute.
Definitely. So it's not just one guy.
Not getting each other, and remember that especially in D6, it's about learning, and guys are only going to get better as they play, as they continue on. That being said, for the peaceful yet aggressive music, I recommend Miles Davis.
It's pretty good.
How?
You're kind of blue.
Also,
like a Smurf.
After losing a big game, make yourself a delicious sandwich. It really was a long.
I have a sandwich after every game. I love sandwiches.
It's the best.
I love them.
Some white bread, tuna, with some mayo. Eggs.
Egg sandwich is pretty king. It's the preferred sandwich of Terry Tam, who just walked into the studio. You're running late when other show hosts are showing up during your show.
They're all angry at you.
So that being said, how do you deal with a good season? Because managing expectations and preparing as you're doing well can also be difficult. We see very good teams get bounced in the first round often. So
I would say this: where having a bad season, drawing a hot bath and crying,
cold bath,
right?
And testosterone is the opposite.
I would say just don't overreact, don't go crazy and party your face off, because you're gonna be hungover from work, you're gonna get fired, you're gonna screw up your whole emotional compass. I don't know if that's a thing, but it should.
It is now.
But then what
#emotional
happens is that if you're overly excited about it, right? You're on a high, right? Oh, I just want to. It's on a 5-game win streak. I'm gonna go and blow all my money on
hookers and
Yeah.
blackjack.
Yes, on that, right? You could really put yourself in a hole. But more so, I think that it's also focusing on the next game. It's all about focusing on the next game. You know, like, yeah, you won a big game, you're a big man, whatever. But the next game, if you lose it, it can really, it'll put you in the wrong.
And also, like, remember that the regular season is one thing, the playoffs are another. We're both on a team. We've talked about it on another podcast. Perfect season, lost in the first round. It was the most
excruciating,
dejecting feeling we've ever experienced.
Because
in
we
FPL.
had guys that on that team where he had a perfect season. Like, I kind of felt like they were set, like they knew going in that we were gonna win, and we lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they just
absolutely.
the expectations were too high. It's like you have to go in with a different mindset every game.
Yeah, and I mean also, like, remember that as you move forward, like, the mistakes get magnified, right? So, like, as you move on into the playoffs, an elimination type game, a bad snap, a poor throw, bad read, that can just end your season on one play.
Really
You know
can.
what I mean? So staying focused is key. I agree absolutely. How do you deal with the present?
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, right now, currently, I paused because I thought I had a joke, but I lost it. So, in the present, in the moment, which division right now is the better division? Which is stronger, which is weak? Conference A, Conference B.
When I look at Division 6, I look at it like this, okay? In NBA, you have the West and you have the East. Everybody knows that the Toronto Raptors are awesome, but but everybody knows they're going to get eliminated first round. First round, absolutely.
5 games.
Maybe not first round because they're probably going to play Charlotte, but whatever. We're not talking about that.
I still think so.
But the thing
They're
is,
not built for the playoffs. Anyway.
here's my thing. I look at it, and when I look at Division A, which would to me in basketball terms would be
Conference A, yeah. I keep saying Division 2.
Conference A to me it's the West, and it's there's a lot of really strong teams. Flagrant Fouls, LA's Finest, Obamacare. You know, Jean-Guy, maybe Wolfpack. We don't know. We'll see yet. But the thing is, those are really strong
But
teams.
just to say that your top 6 teams are 4-2 or better,
Right.
and your top 6 teams have scored north of 130.
But at this point we know who's going to be in and who's out. And whereas when I look at Division B, I see a lot of teams that are okay. They're good. You know, part of my swag. I'm nothing against them. I definitely think they're up there. They're kind of like the Chicago Bulls right now. They're good. We don't know what D Rose is going to do. You know, but we still think he might get injured again. But the thing is, they're good. But at the same time, like I'm not just looking at one team here. I'm looking at the whole division.
Yeah.
Wax on, wax off is a good team as well. But when I look at Division A and Division B, I see a stark difference between the talent. I see a stark difference between the capability that both teams have. Like if I look at Division A specifically, I see battle hardened. Is that a thing? Battle hardened teams. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That they've gone through their trials and tribulations. Whereas in Conference B, I see teams that have had weaker schedules. They're kind of used to playing a specific type of teams as well. What do you think? What do you think of that?
I'm inclined to agree. I'm inclined to agree that a lot of the FPF experience is in Conference A. A lot of the up and coming teams are in Conference A. In Conference B, you see a very strong top end with wax on, wax off, as well as
Part of my swag.
So
But I don't want to count them out because I still think part of my swag is up there. I still think that they would be. I wouldn't want to face them. You know?
I agree. We are, of course, in the Coast to Coast studios. If you're watching, you know that we are at www.theunclemikeshow.com. Remember, you can find the show via iTunes or whatever other. What is it? Podomatic, at Podomatic as well. It is your least favorite time. It is everyone else's most favorite time. It is Science Hour with Duke every week. I toss a scientific concept to my brother, and he has to do his best to define it. And then that becomes the actual definition for the term, because I will not correct you.
This is the worst.
The term
Do
is...
you even remember any of the other ones?
Oh, there will be a segment at the end of the season on this. You can...
Grandfather Paradox is one.
We'll have something on at the end of the season. See, everyone likes it except you. Today's word, ferromagnetism.
Ferromagnetism.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Ferromagnetism. So, feral animals, animal behavior.
So it is
magnetism.
ferromagnetism.
Okay.
Not feral.
Okay.
Feral.
Let's go with feral. Go with feral. Go,
Okay.
animals.
Okay, so if it is ferromagnetism, it means that you are magnetized to ancient Egyptian gods
Obviously.
and kings.
Yeah.
If it's ferromagnetism, it's being magnetized towards animals.
So
Is
either
that-
you're drawn to animals or pharaohs. That's
Well,
excellent.
depends on how you choose to spell it on a day.
Correctly.
Am I even close? Is that even a thing?
Sure. Any final thoughts?
That science is stupid and I hate it.
Awesome. That's very apparent by this segment.
And also another thought. Part of my swag, basically Toronto Raptors, really good, but we don't know how they're going to perform in the playoffs yet.
Fair. I like that. I like that.
Compare the Toronto Raptors
No.
To every team in the league.
Wait, no. They are the Chicago Bulls. They're the Chicago Bulls. That they're good,
For
but
the Chicago Bulls.
no, because then the Toronto Raptors would be they would be wax on, wax off. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah.
The basketball side of that got very confusing very fast. My Thursday's lesson plan is, especially for struggling teams, I'm starting to see the higher division game of the week come up. Pay attention to it. See what works in higher divisions. See the kind of plays. It really is a way to learn the game really quickly because flag football's not complicated, as we said.
It's so
teams
complicated.
run 4 to 5.
It's so complicated.
It's really not.
It's so complicated.
Maybe to you. You just defined two types of magnetism: one where animals are attracted to each other, and one where you're attracted to ancient Egyptian gods.
There's nothing wrong with being attracted to Egypt.
That's true. There's nothing wrong with Egypt. So, that being said, it's a great way to learn the game. Watch the higher division game of the weeks. Don't just watch it when it's Division 6, although definitely watch it when it's Division 6. Thank you, Dees, for joining me in the studio.
You're not welcome. I hate you.
All right. Thanks, GM and Terry, for providing banter and commentary in the Peanut Gallery. Thank you, Coast to Coast Studios at www.theunclemikeshow.com. Eagle, great work as always, except for the fact that it was terrible to start. I'm hoping you do good. You do better for Calling the Audible, the Division 3 podcast, which follows this show. Thanks, everyone. This is Pease Del Reese saying good day, and may the good news be yours.
Wash your underwears before next game.